Welcome to the Phil and the Kid podcast. I'm Phil Gardner.
And I'm Spiro.
And today we're talking about who we are and why you should bother listening to us. Anyway, so, jumping in on life here. Why don't we talk about what Spiro's done this past exciting week?
Past week
in
actually,
the life. Or
yeah,
day
it's
in
been
the
pretty
life.
nice actually. It's like the end of the busy season of the summer, or not so busy season of the summer. The busy season's about to start.
Quiet
so it was nice.
season.
It's the last week of peace and quiet and having time to ourselves. Just now it's going to be full force.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have that last week just to chill and hang out. Did a lot of things on my own and things more for fun than
business and things.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. We had was it after the heavy spring, went into like hibernation mode almost in August, when not many deals on the market, clients are on vacation, those types of things, right? So you can enjoy. We got to start this podcast.
Yeah,
which
that was pretty
cool.
big.
That was our slow summer project, if you will.
Took about a month.
Yeah,
a month and a half, and
to get up to this point.
Yeah, now we're here,
almost ready to go.
Yeah. So last week I went to Burlington Rib Fest. That was a few days ago. Yeah, in Burlington. And supposedly everybody in Burlington thinks it's the only
Rib Fest.
Only Rib Fest.
I think Aurora has one too.
Waterloo has one.
Yeah, there's
they
lots.
all. I remember when I went to school at Laurier, a lot of the people that lived in Waterloo, would tell me, "Oh, you have to go to our Rib Fest or our Beer Fest," and I was just like, "I'm from Toronto. We have these.
We have all
too.
The festivals.
We have a lot of ribs everywhere.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it was really fun. It was nice. It's right by the water. They have a really nice. Lake shore there.
Yeah.
So there was just the classic Rib Fest, like 20 different vendors, a lot of corn, Tiny Tom's donuts, so good. Ugh.
Tiny Tom's is like the festival. They must just do festival laps all year round.
The CNE. Yeah, I think they're at Canada's Wonderland, I believe.
Yeah, They have a mainstay shop there, I think.
Yeah, that's
childhood.
They should have stores on every corner at this point. They're so good.
They're good.
Ugh.
It's such a, I don't know. It's just fun watching the whole process.
It is. And it's like apple cinnamon. Oh, it's so good. It's so tasty.
All right. So we know Spiro's dirty vice is Tiny Tom and Tiny
Tom
Donuts.
Is my dirty vice. I love you, Tom.
Hey, Tom. Anything else exciting going on?
Just client work.
End of the quiet season.
And just listed a property.
Nice.
Listed a property in Etobicoke.
Right.
So we'll see. It's live soon. So it's just coming up live. Wanted to wait until after the long weekend to post it, not during the long weekend or right before.
No, nobody's gonna be looking at anything right now, right?
And that's when you get 4 days on the market and nobody saw it, because why would they?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So yeah, that's gonna come on, and that's exciting. And also working with some clients, looking for some places too. I put in an offer this weekend.
Nice. How'd that go?
I
didn't hear about it, so
probably
not the best.
It was a really strong offer. It was really close to asking price, and I think the sellers are just waiting. It's been on the market for 50 plus days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So not offer date, not multiples.
No.
They just didn't like.
They just said, "Oh, there might be another offer tomorrow, and we're gonna wait for that." But ours was really close. It was like within 20 grand of the asking
and they would
price.
No sign back or anything.
Sign back at full price.
Wow.
And
okay. Well,
our clients were kind of just like,
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's stalled. We'll see how that works out in the next few days.
At least they're putting in offers, right?
Yeah.
It's this first step.
Yeah, so that was good. How about you?
Nice.
What did you do last week?
Last week, so we had there's a couple client projects that are kicking off. So a lot of that early spring deals that are now closed and client projects are starting. So we've got and I'll do some photos of it, I'm sure, on social. But we've got some a triplex that's being converted, as well as another 3-unit that was just finished or is wrapping up. Went and checked on those. Got some photos of those guys ready for rental listing or lease listing. Had a basement apartment finally got leased of a 2-unit property that was completed earlier this summer. So that client is happy. Her whole property is ready to roll, cash flowing. What else did we do? Landlord tenant board was fun. My one of my least favorite places on the face of this earth. And we got to spend half the day Friday at the LTB with a relatively positive outcome.
At least it wasn't too bad too. Sometimes those things go all day and then nothing happens.
Yeah, there was some interesting. It's kind of funny because you get to sit there, right, and you watch every other. Yeah. I don't want to call it, not a case, right, but you watch everything else get tried and heard while you're there. And some people are on both sides. On landlords and tenants are absolutely ridiculous in what they're expecting and how they think they can kind of cry wolf and get away with it. But no, ours came to a kind of a mutual agreement prior to being heard. So that was, honestly, probably best case outcome for both parties. What else did we do? Went to Angus Glen last week as a team. Pre-quarter 4 work session, kind of prepping for our new office that we're going to be in ideally early next year. Just kind of the growth plan for the entire team, which was fun. Didn't end up getting to golf. Definitely got rained out, but we should rain check that and hit that before.
It was a good
September.
meeting though.
It was very good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of food. Oh man.
Yeah.
I slept well.
I was stuffed.
Yeah.
Hard to focus in the bottom half.
Yeah.
Because of how much food, but it was.
I hated myself at the end there for eating just chips.
When it's all there and it's free and it's right in front of you.
Cupcakes, muffins,
it's tough to
bagels.
Exactly.
Chicken wings.
Carry on.
Fried chicken sandwich, French fries.
Yeah. Oh God.
Salmon wrap.
Oh yeah, those two. Those were good.
Yeah, those
little
good.
Like the smoked salmon wraps.
Yeah.
Angus Glen, everybody. It was a great deal.
It was
for room rentals, and they stuff you full.
Yeah.
So
really nice golf course too.
Yeah.
It's a shame we didn't go.
Yeah, I know. They're slackers.
Brendan went.
Yeah, Brendan. He went. I think he got all 18 in actually.
No way.
Yeah, he went solo.
And just pushed through.
Yeah.
Wow, that's commitment.
He was saying he shot. I don't know, 80 something. He shot well. But, when you don't have us to deal with, you just plow along.
That's true.
Away you go.
You probably play better as a single, I'd assume. Just kind of...
Nobody's watching.
No one's watching.
I play like garbage when I've got like pressure on.
Oh,
I play
too.
garbage on a good day. And then with like a little bit of added pressure, I just fall apart.
Yeah.
I'm trash.
You can also hit as many balls as you want, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. You can take as many drops as you need to.
Yeah. Mulligan.
Exactly. What else? Birthdays. We had a couple of... father-in-law and nephew's birthday over the weekend, which was kind of fun. Went out to Guelph, hung with the fam.
Guelph, nice.
Yeah, it was good weekend. It's a nice week too, just weather-wise all around.
Perfect weather. It's not too hot, not too cold.
No, this is a good time of year. If we could do this all year round, then I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Global warming, we'll see. Might be getting there. Who knows?
Not the way that I want to get there, but
Hey, I'm a half.
Is what it is.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
That's a way to look at it for sure.
Yeah, we're all screwed.
Yeah, no kidding. So, folks.
Anyways,
why are we here? Right? Why should you listen to us? Who are we? A lot of good questions that I'm sure is mulling through everyone's head right now. I should stop stomping, but. And this is why I want a agenda.
Well, no, who we are, that's obviously what everybody's asking. Like, why even listen to us?
Yeah.
We just look like two schmucks.
I mean, we are kind of two schmucks. We're basically just two schmucks that are talking into a couple microphones with a camera. But we are also real estate agents, budding investors and real estate investors, entrepreneurs, if you will, and just Torontonians Torontonian millennials that are trying to make the best of life and looking for a platform to just chat.
And we constantly get asked, how do you afford properties in Toronto?
Yeah.
That's a huge question.
That's true.
Get it on a daily from friends, family, clients.
People that just in general think it's not possible, right? It's out of my range, or I'm waiting for the crash. Is becoming very common nowadays, and
that's been common for the past 20 years.
The crash is coming for 20 years, and you know what? I can
touch on that. Well, this is why I actually went to university. Mm-hmm. So I went to Wilfrid Laurier University, and I took economics and finance, which you already know, but
of course,
everybody else, that's what I did for the past 4 years. The reason I did that, it was never to get a job afterwards. Mm-hmm. I always had real estate in mind.
Gotcha.
So going into school, I was never nervous. I was never trying to get my grades in certain courses really high. If I didn't like the course, I didn't like it. And I was really happy with that because I saw a lot of my friends who were trying to get those banking jobs or whatever, Bay Street jobs.
Yep.
And it was really tough because they needed those 95s in all courses, even the ones that they absolutely hated. Oh. So you get a lot of people doing a lot of stuff that they do not want to do.
Right.
So for me, it was actually, I had a pretty good time. Obviously, it was stressful too. But on courses that I didn't like, for example, I took an advanced accounting law course, and I thought it was pretty fun at the beginning because I love law.
Right.
So I got the full tax act and everything.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And started reading through it. I liked it, but then as I kept going, I realized this is definitely not for me. And you know, it sucked. Even people who go into accounting will tell you, yeah, it's not fun. No. So at least I didn't have to stress over things like that too much. Where it would, you know, things like that in university just kill you. You're just destroyed when you have a big exam like that coming up and you got to study. So it was always really nice for me that during my university time, I also had my real estate license. That's what I did at the same time. So around halfway through university, I was a licensed realtor, and I knew that's what I was going to do. But that's where I got it the most. A lot of my friends asking me, why are you in real estate?
Right.
And how did that even come up? And a lot of people think when they think of realtors, they think of not an educated, helpful person.
Kind of that used car salesman or like, I went this route because I didn't have another choice type of thing.
Yeah, like a last resort type of thing. Where it really shouldn't be.
Of course.
If you're getting someone to make the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your whole entire life, a purchase that could
make or break
you, literally.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are paying their mortgage payments that can't even afford it still.
Yeah.
So that's because they didn't have proper advice from a realtor, and that's what I really believe in, is that if you use a realtor, you will always have that proper advice. And if it's a good realtor, someone,
if you use a good realtor,
good realtor, if you use a good realtor, someone who knows what they're doing, who's intelligent and works hard for their client, that's what you'll find. So that's what I always answered to my friends when they asked. That was my main reason. And then they would always follow that up with, well, I'm never going to afford anywhere in Toronto, so that's too crazy for me to even think.
I hear a lot of that, right? That's such a cop-out to me, without really logically thinking through the steps of maybe how I could afford a property in Toronto, or if I even want to. I mean, some people, maybe they just don't care. They don't want a property in Toronto because that lifestyle is not for them. But for those that do, to immediately just write it off by saying, oh, it's too expensive, there's zero way I can do this, I think it is a cop-out, or is just you're not educated enough, and perhaps you haven't talked to the right people, right, who might have different strategies and methods for you to enter the market, and then eventually maybe level up to Toronto or enter into Toronto. But perhaps that is a longer topic for another podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's something we can talk about.
We can talk about that for hours.
Hours, yeah. No, but it's true, and that's really important too, because the way I look at it is a lot of people like to see their scenario in life, whether it's good or bad, or whether it's irrelevant to that, and whether it's things like politics or the market, and they try to think of it as set in stone and that they're stuck and that they can't do anything about it, where they don't understand that life's sort of like a game where you got to play it, and you either play it to just play it and get by, or you play it to try to level up and have the best character possible. So if some people don't like certain scenarios, I mean, I'm sure nobody likes paying this much for homes. It's not that fun.
I mean, but if you could do it for free, then I'm sure you would.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But that's the scenario we are all stuck in. And you got to figure out a way to do it.
Exactly.
If that's something you want to do, if you want a secure investment and a good retirement plan, that's something that is definitely a thing you should look into, because it does help and it does work. But I mean, whatever it is, not only real estate, whatever you do in life, you got to put in that effort, and you got to try to level up your character. Character being yourself.
You are the character of life, the game, the game of life. Right.
So that's sort of why I started into real estate. I mean, that's the second part of it. I kind of jumped to that. The first part, and I'll touch on that right now, is my family. It's a family business for me. My dad's been in real estate for a super long time now. I think it's 20 plus years. And he actually owns Urban Village Realty. So I grew up in that whole household mindset of buying real estate. It's a good thing. And he wasn't, he still isn't one of the shady ones. He's not a guy that's trying to sell, and you know him really well now too.
Shout out Nick Versailles.
Yeah, shout out. he really cares about his clients, and that's something you don't see all the time, which you probably should.
Yeah, of course.
That's really the most important thing.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that, and at the dinner table, and always talking about it. I remember as a kid going to showings with him, and so on. So that's something that in my life has been really, really important to me, and something I grew up with. So it's pretty much second nature in some extent. And I always remember something with the hours with me too. Something about the hours are really nice, where, you know, right now I'm working 12-hour days, 10-hour days, whatever. So it's not like I'm not working, but I like the freedom of picking when I work.
Yeah.
And picking who I work with. That's really nice too.
The flexibility of who you work with is huge.
The most important thing.
Yeah,
I think.
And I think for there's almost two brands of real estate agents, if you will, right? There's the total volume based guys who, I mean, you'll see their marketing is killer, and you come in from a lead funnel. They deal with you on a very transactional basis, and then kind of you're out. And then you have the more relationship-based guys, which I think not only Nick, but our entire team is very relational, and that we're looking for. I mean, it is kind of part and parcel that we deal with a lot of investors as well who are purchasing more frequently. But to have a strong relationship with a client that you could go grab a beer with and actually enjoy their time, to me is, and if those are the type of people that I'm working with on a day-to-day basis, there's not anything better, right? I couldn't put myself in a position in another line of work that I think is more fulfilling.
No.
Right?
No, yeah, that's really good, and you see that in our office a lot too, with the way we all cooperate with each other too. Yeah. That's really nice too.
Yeah, we're not, even though there's half a dozen agents in the office, we're not all chomping at the bit and kind of trying to undercut each other for deals and clients and things, right? It's very community driven.
Well, we grab lunch together almost every day.
Talk about what's the hot deal.
Grabbing beers together all the time. Like it's pretty much a friendship first, and then work goes into it.
Exactly.
It's also nice how
colleagues and clients.
Exactly. Yeah, and we funnel each other a lot too with different property ideas, especially for the investing side.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ideas thrown out, or potential properties that get passed around, which is really nice too. It's nice to work in an environment like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, that's pretty much why I'm in real estate right now. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but
that's the Spiro come up story.
Yeah, the short synopsis of a little bit of my background and how I got into it. So
I think we're gonna flip the script now a little bit and talk about the Phil's come up story, if you will. So unlike yourself, I was not hugely studious and thoughtful about where I was going to school ahead of time, and I think that's I almost say sometimes that I fell into real estate, or when I started I fell into property management, and that kind of carried me through to eventually figuring out what I wanted. So probably, I mean, let's go way back to high school. I was a absolutely terrible student. Not in that I was, not smart and picking things up, but I would be super bored. If there was a class, you'd see my report cards and it would be like, you've either got 80s and 90s in 10% one specific class, or 50s and 60s in the rest, because I just didn't care, right? There was nothing that was entertaining me. I think back then I was super into cop shows and high energy stuff like that, so I thought, oh hey Phil, you're going to be a cop, because that's the road you go down when you don't know what else you want to do, and that didn't work either, thankfully. Went to Seneca for all that fun stuff. Applied for so many different police forces. Got to a couple stages of interviews, and then never any further. But it was we had a couple family members actually that are police officers, and the big turning point I think for me was my mom's cousin Vali. She's married to a police officer as well, and she's also an English teacher at Jordan, and she wrote a couple of books. And those, and this has nothing to do with real estate, sorry, but those books where she would interview police officers and like emergency service workers and their families, and wrote a book around like the lifestyle and all that stuff. And this kind of maybe circles back to that lifestyle design that's so big for us in real estate, right? It was not a life reading the books and hearing the stories, and it was just like absolutely heartbreaking, the stuff that some of these families go through. And that was a pretty clear decision point for me, that I was like, there's no way in the world that this is what I want for the future of my life. At close to around that point, I had a friend's mom. She worked for Tridel, a branch of Tridel, in the property management sector, and she thankfully hooked me up with a job in property management. Little did I know at the time that I would be working in Orangeville, way away from home, Newmarket at the time, managing nonprofit townhomes. So we had a suite at 21 or so, 21, 22. We had a sweet nonprofit townhome complex of about 100 units, 97% of them subsidized, something along those lines, that little old me had to manage all solo. And that really got feet to the fire learning the property management industry pretty quickly. And I think even at that time, because I only saw it through such a narrow lens, that was like, oh God, I need to, there came a point where I was like, I need to get out of this. I don't know if I can property manage any longer, especially if this is all it was.
Yeah, that's a really tough job.
There was, I think over the 2 or 3 years I worked there, we had 6 deaths in the units. Whoa. Which are, not all of them were in the units, I should say, but some of them were pretty graphic, and just interesting, the type of conversations that we'd be having at board meetings and things, and just not a spot that I saw the future of Phil again, right?
Yeah.
Almost went through a trial and error stage in the early life of what to and what not to do. So
you really hit the ground running, though, from the beginning.
Yeah, it was good because it taught me a ton, and I was probably one of the youngest people at the company, and I kind of followed suit for a couple years like that, or for 5 or 6 years like that, just absorbing, and did a lot of different things, and took a lot of knowledge from a lot of people around me to kind of help me grow, that level up type of scenario, right? I've never been one to stagnate, even if I didn't have a long-term vision or a clear long-term vision. I knew being stagnant wasn't the move, right? I knew I couldn't sit in one job. Me personally, I have, and it took me a while to figure this out, a lot longer than you, of course, but it took me a while to figure out that I have a real hard time working for someone else. I don't know if it's an authority problem or something like that, but it's ever since becoming a real estate agent, life is just feels so much more freeing, right? Deciding who I want to work with, deciding when I want to, you don't always have the choice of when you want to work, right? But on the...
Yeah, you're also on the clock 24/7,
yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
But on the other projects like this podcast, for example, right? This is something that we were very much able to do in our own time and on our own schedule, which, again, having those opportunities is nice. But circling back to after the first property management shenanigans, I went looking for a while. I worked at a condo management company for, I think, a whole whopping 2 weeks until I decided that level of administration is not something that I am cut out for at all. And then I moved over, thankfully, to I'll call it an investing company, a little bit of like a grassroots real estate investment situation. We were operating many different things under one roof. We had a mortgage brokerage, a private investment firm, like a mortgage investment corporation. They also had property management, which is kind of how I got my project management on certain development projects. What else? Credit counseling. Like, there was all sorts of things under that one roof. And while there wasn't really much of a clear vision, again, working with that company, things changed so frequently because each of those divisions was basically run by one person. It allowed me, again, to then understand a little bit about mortgages, understand a little bit about private lending, more about property management from a private investor side of things, as opposed to from like a municipally run properties, which again, tons of information I picked up while I was there, and we actually were able to create a partnership amongst a few of the employees while I worked there. A few of the employees and the owner of the company at the time, while I worked there, and we were able to start doing some flips. So my first heavy foray into the investing side of things came in the way of one of those lovely guru camps that shows up and says, hey, come to my 3-hour workshop and then I will upgrade you to my 3-day summit, and then I'm going to upsell you on a $30,000 program, and you get to come to Chicago and San Diego and all these lovely places, right? Well, we fell for the whole thing, and I'm kind of glad we did. Strangely, like, I know most people when they talk about it, I know 1000% you can get all of this information online on many different platforms for no cost, right? Or just by doing it and talking to other people that do it,
which is probably the best way.
It is the best way, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down, the best way. But what this did for us was it got us amped up and excited enough to go and do it. So we created a little bit of a partnership. We did our first flip 2015, I think it was. So I guess 4 or 5 years ago now, going on 5 years ago, we flipped a property in the East End, kind of Woodbine and Danforth area of Toronto. It was absolutely a colossal, just chaos, all things chaos. I brought in a friend to do the renovation, and that, I mean, thankfully by the end of it, that it did turn out well, but we learned a lot of lessons. I was probably working 16-hour days during the course of that, the later end of that renovation, to make up for some errors that had been made in Phil's project management decisions on the beginning part of that renovation. And then one of our teammates was an agent, but a brand new agent at the time. And we sold it probably for less than what we could have, but by the end of the whole thing, we were like, if we can get out and not lose money, we're winning, right?
Yeah. It's a good learning experience along.
Exactly. For our first project, having made absolutely every error under the sun I feel like you could have made, and this is probably partly due to, like, the success was probably partly due to the Toronto market just being on such a rise, right? We sold, and I think we made 20-30 grand amongst 4 people, right?
All right, yeah.
But so I mean,
how long did that project last?
It was like a 5-6 month project. It wasn't long. But the fact, it was a huge learning lesson, right? And it was just something that said, hey, I've done it now. We got through, we bought it, we sold it, we did every step of the project. We didn't lose money. I'm calling it a win, right? To us, it was a win at the time. And that at the time, I think we ended up doing 2 more flips with that company before I changed jobs again. Just kind of like internal issues. It wasn't something that I thought was the right place to stick to for the long run. But have since actually circled back around and reconnected with them as clients now, which is great. Another lesson to never burn your bridges. Yeah. Even if, maybe you have a disagreement and some things aren't working out on a individual work level, burning bridges is never a good call, because I mean, again, look, we've circled back around and have amended things and are now working together on a client basis, which is great. And so end of that's when I moved over to the My Capital Corner team, who eventually joined with Urban Village Realty, as, again, back to property management. I've stuck with that as like my in, because that was my power base, just kind of from a work standpoint growing. So we came here as property management / leasing / an excellent agent's assistant, which, again, meanwhile, they don't sound exciting. All little pieces of skills that I've learned to develop, having written tons of offers and listing agreements and prepping listings and those types of things, even though they weren't mine, have really helped me develop a skill base so that when I did get my license finally, I was able to hit the ground running, and I mean, would knock out 5 deals in the first couple of months, which allowed me a lot of freedom, peace of mind, if you will, just to say, hey, Phil, you can actually do this, right? And then it allowed us, again, time to do this podcast. But finally being an agent, I think is something that I've been coming to terms with for many years. It's the thought of leaving a full-time job and a full-time paycheck was certainly terrifying. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, it takes time to get over that hurdle to say, hey, maybe you build up a certain cushion to say, if I don't do this successfully, this allows me enough time to live. I'm not really that kind of person. I, at one point, finally just said, I'm going to make a change because this isn't who I should be. Again, 2 feet in. If I didn't do 5 deals in the first 2 months, we might have trouble paying some bills. Thankfully, I did, so we don't. But that's kind of that.
Well, that's whatever you do, though. A lot of people put 1 foot in and then get 1 foot in results.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to be successful with 1 foot in and then 1 foot out the door, or in the just in case I'm not successful, right? I don't think we live in that world. You kind of have to go absolutely all in if you plan on
balls to the wall.
If you plan on being successful, exactly, balls to the wall. I'm trying to think if there's anything. We did a project with the My Capital Corner team internally, another investment property. So our first long-term buy and hold investment was another joint venture. I like to do those joint ventures, if you can't tell, between a couple of partners, and maybe one of the future podcasts will talk about the breakdown of that deal, because that did end up very well. And I think this is the deal that finally got my wife on board with the whole real estate investing idea. Is being able to do, we went three people, so 3 ways on a project, converted into 2 units, and this is a Toronto property that cash flows for about $2,000 a month. It is possible to have cash flowing deals in Toronto. Meanwhile, contrary to the popular belief, if you will. But after refinancing that I think we refinanced it about 9 months after purchase. We took out half the money that it required, half the capital that was required to do the deal. And it still cash flows about $1,600 a month, which is absolutely spectacular. So, again,
and we'll speak on the process,
definitely
on later podcasts for sure.
Definitely something that we'll get into as I'm almost like an entire episode topic in the future.
Yeah, right? This could span a few episodes. Even. Yeah,
for sure. So
it's really important. It's pretty much what we do with our investors on a daily basis.
Yeah. So that's kind of Phil's come up story. We basically just have finally gotten there at pushing 30 to the HGTV life. I wish it was actually as pretty and perfect as the HGTV life, but it's not so bad. It's good that the freedom is nice for sure. That's the biggest thing.
It's just the beginning too.
Exactly, it is just the beginning, and you guys get to watch the whole journey.
And that's the best part about this podcast. One of the reasons we wanted to start this was because it's a very unique view on real estate, on business, and on life.
Yeah,
I think right now, if you do listen to business podcasts or real estate podcasts, it's usually from the multimillionaire to almost billionaire investor.
Exactly. I like the idea of instead of learning or following and watching along the guys that are 10, 12, 15 steps ahead of where the average Joe is at. We're kind of coming at this from a grassroots level, and you guys get to watch the growth, right? You get to see us go from maybe 1 step, 2 steps ahead, so that we understand the struggle. We've been there very recently. Have we been there? So this will be an interesting experience for us, as well as for hopefully our listeners to watch us grow, to see the stages and learn the things that we're going through. And we will obviously be bringing on guests that are a little bit more seasoned in their specific areas. But again, future topics for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to have the perspective of 2 really different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
I took the sort of traditional approach of going to university, finding a job. I mean, mine was a little bit different.
Yeah, at the same time, not locking yourself into the 9-to-5 job right out of university and kind of going down that road for near a decade before finally making the decision to switch.
And it's a big risk too, because I don't have that paycheck every week or every other week, and that part is a little bit more scary. But I think the financial freedom, it's already proven to be a good call for myself. So it's nice to have you guys on this journey with us too, and just keeping updated, learning a few things here and there from our our mistakes and what we've done right. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of mistakes, and if anybody tells you that there's no mistakes or they've never made
mistakes, full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, this is an explicit podcast, but they're full of shit.
Yeah, they're definitely lying. That's just not right. So we're really open, we're uncut, and I think that's something good, where you're gonna get two just real people
absolutely
talking to you, and you can listen to and hopefully relate with us. Yeah. And hearing from any listener is actually really beneficial for us too. So
for sure,
so any
we're hugely open to feedback. Definitely interested in feedback.
I know you've already gotten some feedback from family members. Phil, you swear so much.
From mother, sister, brother, mother-in-law, everybody that pretty much has seen this so far, or our little clip that was launched. Yeah, well, it's hopefully not going to be that unfiltered moving forward, but it is certainly going to be not fully filtered.
That could be actually a segment.
Just Phil Unfiltered.
Phil Unfiltered. Unfiltered with Phil.
Unfiltered with Phil. We're going to get there. Phil will get angry enough one day about something stupid, and we will record an Unfiltered with Phil, and it's,
never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. But we tell it like it is. We keep it real. We are going to screw up, right? But I don't consider those, I consider those more lessons in life, what not to do in the future than a failure, right? You're never going to succeed, really, if you can't eat a couple failures, right?
Yeah,
which we have had, and we will have many more of, I'm sure.
You got to turn the L's into lessons.
Exactly.
So we spoke about what got you into real estate and what brought you here. So what are you doing right now? What projects are you working on?
So there's another partner in the office. We're currently looking for another investment property, long-term rental. We'll do a joint venture between the two of us. Even when I got my agent license, it was almost not primarily to sell real estate or to purchase, act as an agent for other people. It was more of a tool in the tool belt, along with all the property management, the leasing, the number crunching of deals, all those things that I've learned over the years. The next logical step to me was become a real estate agent, because those are, again, more skills that you can use to help grow a personal portfolio. And if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of joint ventures. I like bringing other people along on this journey with me. I like kind of helping raise up those around me and who might not have the knowledge, expertise, or time to be acting on a project. And that's what I'm here for, is to be able to run that project. And at the same time, bringing multiple people in on a deal, there is an element of risk mitigation to that as well, which is nice. If any one deal in particular has a problem, this is real estate. They're not all going to be perfect, right? That's been nice. So my next kind of big thing, while getting this agent thing down pretty perfect, is going to be the goal for the next little while. At the same time, growing that joint venture portfolio and personal real estate portfolio as an investment is definitely the long-term goal. That retirement freedom, the what do you call it, financial independence, retire early, that whole FIRE crowd is certainly a goal. Not necessarily, I know I would lose my mind if I actually retired, like the traditional definition, but it's that lifestyle freedom, right? Knowing that you have the capacity to take on things as they come at you, and if, let's say, some kind of health or some concern happen, that you're not wondering where that next paycheck is going to come from. So the next big target for Phil's life is going to be figuring out how real estate and joint venture deals, lots of high cash flow rental properties, can help me hit that retirement mark, if you will. Again, not planning on retiring anytime soon, but hit that retirement mark while also helping clients attain their real estate portfolio goals. So that's basically where I'm at, my goal for the next little bit. How about yourself? What's the goal for Spiro in the future?
So for myself, again, we do come from a little bit of a different background in this. So you've been really adept to all of the different challenges in investing. You've gone through it a bunch of times, and that's where your heart is. That's what got you into real estate. Mm-hmm. I love working with clients. That's something that, I wake up in the morning and that excites me. Yeah. The new clients that walk in and want help, or just helping people guide them, helping guide them through purchasing real estate. That for me, that's really exciting, and that's something I really like. So at this point in my career, that's something I'm really focusing on. Is always expanding my client base. I love working with people, so it really excites me when I work with people. Mm-hmm. And so something I've recently done is create a group, real estate investment for beginners, and it's mainly in the GTA. Mm-hmm. I like to talk about properties in Toronto because of the tremendous upside.
Yep.
Something about Toronto that I really do like is the industries that are in Toronto currently. So you don't get that effect of a Detroit or a lot of the surrounding cities in Toronto where they have their one industry that holds the whole town together.
Yeah, and God forbid that company or that industry ever stops being an industry. We are evolving as a society hugely fast, right?
Yeah.
Or that company pulls out, right?
And then the whole city, the whole town is just what do you value? Look what happened in Detroit. So that's something that I really looked into, and that's also ties back to the reason I went to school in for economics and finance. Is that always interested me is why do things like this happen? Mm-hmm. So learning more and more about that and about all this talk around a bubble, looking into Toronto and all the industries that Toronto has, it's hard to see a bubble anytime soon, and just giving that advice to other people, not exactly advice, but it's more of an opinion.
Yeah, take, of course.
And it's something that I am a little bit educated on, so I could actually help with that. So this meetup group is so far it's been really, really good. Yeah. Right now we have over 200 people in it in a month and a bit.
It's growing
span.
quick.
I think it's a month span. So a lot of people are really interested on it, and I'm always there to listen and help. I've had a lot of conversations with people in the group, and they're very happy. So if you're interested, go to Meetup, and it's on Meetup. You can get the app or browse it on the web, and it's called Real Estate Investment for Beginners. So I'm holding our second big meeting in the beginning of September now. Nice. And we'll see where it goes from there. Right now I just talk about the basics. So why buy real estate, the basics is the actual meetings I've been holding. Yeah. And it's just kind of a primer on investors or first-time home buyers and what to look for in a property, why to look for it, what are your opportunities, and going forward, what you should do. So that really excites me right now. And with the last one, we actually partnered with CIBC and had them talk about mortgages and your different options. So I mean, it was a huge success, and I'm really happy about it and excited to see where it goes in the future. So that's something I'm really focusing on right now, along with the podcast and social media. I've been getting on social media as much as I can. I mean, I know my friends will vouch for this. They'll all ask me, "Oh, you're in real estate?" Yep. Yeah, it's working.
It is working. That's for sure.
So just continually improving that, and looking for new ways to connect with people and really help people. I think that's what it all comes down to. Is bettering people, because the way I look at it is, you could work with high volume in real estate sales and being a realtor. And just go for the one-offs where you're like, I don't give a shit about you. Yeah. You're just gonna get this property. I'm gonna get my check, and later, tell your friends about me. Yeah. Bye. That's I feel like what a lot of people think
of realtors.
Yeah. Where I strongly believe in the opposite of giving really good service and working with them so that they want to work with you.
Of course. It's a much more long-term view on how to, grow a business, if you will. It is that you really have to care about your clients and not just treat them as a commission check or as another number, another notch on the belt or whatnot. It's also incredibly fulfilling, right? There's so much more value on both sides of things if you've gained a friend or relationship out of a client afterwards. And it's kind of fun to watch. Well, again, on the investment side, maybe a little bit different, but it's fun to watch people's portfolios kind of grow year over year.
It's something that I don't think is talked about enough. Is that even to the non-investor, when you see somebody that you've helped, and you're always in touch, and they're not burdened by a huge mortgage because you set them up properly. Maybe you put in a tenant in their basement and it pays off the mortgage, or maybe you advise them on different areas, different price ranges, where to go, what you believe is going to appreciate soon. You can see the difference of the life that they live. Where you get that person that is always struggling to make mortgage payments, you know, maybe overpaid on a property, maybe the property had a lot more issues that weren't at least pointed out before. I mean, we're realtors, we're not contractors, so we don't know all that, but we do know the people you should ask for help. So we're kind of like a general contractor in real estate. We're the ones that hook you up with everything and have the connections and know a lot of people. And I've always liked that. I've always been really talkative, and in friend groups, you know, I'm always the one that maybe talks a little bit too much and jokes around a little bit too much, but you know, I'm sure a lot of my friends tune me out half the time. Hey,
you get used to you.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm an acquired taste.
Yeah, no kidding. That's okay. So am I.
So yeah, you know, the meetup group's been something that's really important to me, and also, I mean, in my life up till now, sports have been huge. Right. So I mean, right now I'm wearing my Jays jersey. I'm always wearing jerseys. Representing. And it just. I think that for me, you know, the Raptors just won their first championship, and you know, I stayed out all night at Nathan Phillips Square, slept nuts.
There. The kid is absolutely nuts.
Yep.
And we learned I missed a huge opportunity. I should have been at Nathan Phillips Square selling diapers.
Oh yeah.
Would have made an absolute killing. Hopefully, I can do that again one day in the future.
Yeah, that'd be. I won't be there next time.
You learned your lesson.
I've learned my lesson. Yeah, 12 hours. With no food or washroom. It was I mean, the no food was okay, but the washroom was really tough. After 6 hours, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have drank so much water.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, I mean, it was still a time seeing the Raptors there. They're probably my favorite Toronto team. You know, I love the Leafs, love the Jays, love TFC. The Argos are a thing. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Sorry, Argos.
Toronto Rock is also a thing. And rugby, I don't really watch, but hey.
Wolfpack. Shout out Liberty Village.
There it is. Liberty Village, yeah. So, I mean, sports are really important to me, and just getting out and playing as much as I can, hitting the gym, living an active lifestyle.
Nice.
Really important. Other than sports, too, some of my other hobbies, I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts.
Yeah,
hence the
this.
podcast.
The podcast gets so much different too once you're actually trying to run one. You listen to different parts and like, is that maybe I should try this thing? Not a bad idea, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. I'm the mini Joe Rogan.
There you go.
I just need to lose my hair, get more jacked, and know a lot of rich people.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll get there.
Yeah, no, but the podcast and audiobooks, I'm always listening on audiobook.
Audiobooks are life-changing.
Oh yeah, I think. Once people get that whole stigma of reading out of their mind, I know a lot of people, and some of my family members are like this too, where, I mean, reading's not for them, and it's not for everybody. I mean...
No, I didn't. I never really liked reading, if you will. Just more from I like the fact that I can multitask with audiobooks.
That's exactly...
Right? I can't read a book and drive to work, but I can listen to an audiobook and drive to work.
Exactly.
And I'm not really good at sitting down and staring at a book for an hour, 2, 3, 4 at a time. I'm not.
It's really tough.
No, for sure. So having audiobooks and Audible being like a huge part of life now, there's so much more just like fiction fun content, but at the same time, it's much easier to digest like the business books and real estate, just kind of educational content as well that way.
Yeah. No, books are really important. I think. As soon as people start listening to audiobooks and they realize, you know, you find something that you like and you realize this could be something for you, it's a lot easier to get through them.
For sure.
And I mean, like, another good part of it is when you read a book, you have to read every single word, every single page. And I'm sure 30%, 40% of most books, you're like, okay, blah, 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 blah. Especially, you know, the self-help books.
12 words a line.
Business. Yeah, you read a page.
They can be super dry.
Yeah, and you read, you know, 2 pages and you're like, wait a minute. What? Like,
I missed the whole topic.
Yeah, so you have to kind of read it again and again. I mean, I did this in university all the time. And in my textbooks, you read a full page and then you're like, damn, I was thinking about the Leafs game. Damn. I was thinking about Call of Duty. Oh my God, I gotta go back. So,
and this is why I sucked in school, is because I thought the same thing, but I just didn't go back. I just said, I missed it. Fuck it. Let's move on. I'm going to drop this class.
So
Don't
audiobooks,
do that, kids.
Audiobooks, get into them.
Yes, absolutely.
They're good.
If schools were smart, they would print or digitize the audio.
Oh yeah, lectures too.
Lectures
into
audiobooks or something like
that. They
that.
make them way better.
Yeah.
Lectures.
New business plan for anybody that wants to jump on that.
Maybe we'll get into that.
There you go.
Phil and the Kid lectures.
I
I don't think anybody should listen to us.
No.
Maybe on real estate.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit on economics.
There you go.
On a basic level.
And not me.
Some finance stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. How about you? What are your hobbies?
What is Phil into? Cars have always been a mainstay in my life. I used to be, and I tried again recently to get back into Muay Thai. Was a huge thing for me. That's always been my martial arts have always been my avenue to fitness. Until now, up until this point, getting into a gym and doing a solo workout is kind of dry for me. But I think it's something that I need to start because I don't know if these poor shins can handle Muay Thai anymore.
Oh yeah, that's rough on you.
Jumping back into it for the first time recently after 5, 6, 7 years, it was a month of shin splinty pain after 2 classes.
I can't imagine.
Oh man, I mean that's just a testament.
The shin on shin. Oh my god.
We used to do a lot more of that back in the day. Thankfully, everything is nice and padded up usually nowadays. But cars have always been a thing. That's been my. I was the Fast and Furious nerd in high school. I was modifying my grandma's Camry that I got when I was 16. And then I got a sweet 240 SX from my aunt, and my life was over. That was just car heaven. So even back when I was managing those lovely little properties in Orangeville, I would take my sweet Genesis that had 5 digits worth of modifications in it, driving down Highway 9 and pulling up into the parking lot every single day. So that's always been kind of a thing for me. Trying now to stay calm and not go too crazy. Living in Toronto, it's tough to drive a race car around all the time. So trying to stay modest with my car obsession is a struggle. So I found a new obsession in sneakers recently that my wife absolutely despises, but she's just gonna have to deal with it.
Who has more shoes?
Me at this point for sure. Yeah. I think even before it was me, but I had cheaper shoes just to have options that she didn't like. But then when she started to see the price tag of some of the new shoes, that wasn't
you're still
a fan.
Married.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not wearing my Gary V's today, so I won't show those. But one day, maybe I can.
Aren't these the Stranger Things?
These are the Stranger Things. Oh, that's a terrible shot. The sweet Stranger Things collab.
Nice.
Hawkins High. Oh, I can't even see it. I'm not flexible. See, get back into Muay Thai, kids, because then you're flexible enough to put your feet on tables. That hurt a lot.
All right, on that note,
why don't we just cut it here so I can go stretch?
Yeah, we both need to stretch out that. I need to wash my eyes, isn't it? So you could actually find me on Instagram, Facebook, or my website, or Meetup, as I said. On most of them, I'm at Spiro Vriselis. You can look at me up, spirovriselis.com. That's my website. I do have a blog on there with weekly posts. I'm trying to up that to almost daily, but right now I have 2 to 3 posts a week. Other content there. I like to take some photos of the area of mainly downtown Toronto and post them almost daily, so you can find that on my blog too. Again, spirovriselis.com. Feel free to mess around there, and you can look into me a little more. How about you?
Nice. You can find me on kind of the usual platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, if you will.
LinkedIn, yes.
Phil Gardner on all of those. philg.re on Instagram. philgardner.ca is a website in progress. Should be up by the time this gets posted, but we'll see. As well as you can find the podcast Instagram account specifically at Phil and the Kid. And you can also likely find, by the time this is posted, links to the YouTube page as well.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for every one person, probably like my mom, that thanks, Mom, for actually listening to this podcast. And hopefully we'll see you again. Tune in to the next one. Likely, what do we do this weekly?
Yeah, weekly. Every Tuesday we'll drop them.
Dropping them on Tuesdays. Thank you for tuning in to the Phil and the Kid podcast, and we will catch you next week.